born. Now picking go make me mad, thank God. Hey, I say how did my accent overcome what today so? Hey, hey, bad boy, chill out, okay? Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your favorite girl, Lola Cho. If this is your first time logging in here, please do subscribe, do like this video, and share the video, of course. And if you are a returning subscriber, please do not go. I know how passionate you've been about this channel. I just want to thank you so much for sticking with me. So it's a few days leading up to my birthday, and I was just sitting here thinking of how good God has been to me. I was looking back at how far I've come. I was just thinking about how I came to this earth, how long I have been here, what impact I have created, be it in my family, the little community that I live in, the friends that I've met, the acquaintances, the people that I just met once and never got to see them again, the people I've met maybe in taxis or Ubers or, just on the street, what impression they had about me or what I got from them, how it has shaped my life, how it has made me a better person or worse. You never know how people shape your lives, right? I looked at everything that surrounded my birth. I was like, wow, Miranda, you are a child of covenant. Because when I came into my family, being the last child of the family, by the grace of God, my father died, so my mom couldn't have more children. Being the sixth child, I asked my mom, how did you come about the name Gilberline? Because it's such a rare name. That was the first child. She said, oh, I was reading a novel and you know, I came across that name. It was the name of a hotel or something like that, but there was something striking about it. And I said, whenever I have a child, I'm gonna name that child Gibbeline. I was like, wow. So how did you name Quinta? She said when Quinta came, she was so pretty. She was just anything that any woman could wish for. Her dad used to call her my queen and all. I said, then Foster, he said, oh my God, Foster is the child that came with the radio announcements. Since my mom had two girls and now had a boy, my father went and did a radio announcement. I mean, launch on day 2 p.m. on the news. That mommy won't only get picky, they don't born boy. Foster is not a household name. It's a name that is rare. So they had to find a name that was befitting for that only son that came through. My mom said when she had Foster, people would come to the house and she would be surprised, like, how did you know I just had a baby? So we heard over the news. I was like, how did you come about the name Yvonne? Yvonne. It was just such a beautiful name when she heard it, and she couldn't help but give her daughter the name. Juliet came at the time, Romeo and Juliet. My dad and my mom, they were having this swell time, and they decided to give her name Juliet out of love. I said, okay, how did you give me this name Miranda? That has no meaning. No, how did you come about this name? My mother could not even remember who gave me the name. Now we even give the name self say Miranda. Hey. I don't know that I godmother. Oh, now we give you the name. See, I laughed. But that is just to tell you that my birth came at a time when there was so much uncertainty. I came at a time where there was a shift in my family, my entire family, and especially my mother's life. My dad was sick, most especially. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. He was in the hospital. And then I was being born in that season of chaos, trauma, pain, uncertainty, insecurity. My mother would sleep at night and wonder if she's going to be a widow the next day or something. And, when I was 1 month, 3 weeks old, my dad passed on. Coupled with the fact that they weren't looking for a girl child. Can you imagine? They were hoping for a boy child because my mom said, your dad said we had Gilberline and Quinter, and then we had Foster, that was a boy. Then again, they had Yvonne and Juliet. So their expectation was that they were going to have a boy that sixth time. This is the boy that came through. I didn't just come through, I came with a whole entrance. I came, my dad saw me and couldn't believe that he was having another girl. Like, I just need to ball out of here. Unfortunately, at that time, there was no ultrasound or a way of figuring out what sex you would be having. Else, I'm sure my mom would have just gotten rid of this thing. Like, no, I can't have another girl. No, 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 no. But hey, God had to bring me here because I'm a child of purpose. I am a covenant child. When I came, of course, it was a difficult time. When my dad left, my mom had to restructure the whole setting of the family. Can you imagine a woman with 6 children at the age of 32 with no job, no bank account to her name because, of course, back then. And my dad died at the age of 36, meaning there was nothing like benefits that was going to come through for my mother. One thing my mother did was she put everything to the side. She took off that coat of being the stay home mom. She took up whatever was hindering her, whatever was limiting her from being financially upright, and said, I'm going to fend for these ones. I'm going to make these children great. I'm looking back at how my life has turned out so far, and I'm like, God, you are sovereign. You are God all by yourself. Who would have known that the little girl that was born at a time of obscurity, the little girl that was born in a time of chaos, that little girl that was born at a time of so much uncertainty, the little girl that was born at a time when nobody believed that my mother could make it through that season, would be sitting here talking to you, in grammar, most especially. Mama mi do amo. Ha! Mama mi send jama send we for school. Mama mi send popof, pepper soup, pap, conchaff. Name am, just name am, just name am, Mimbo. Wait till you know Sela. My mom had 6 children, running between the ages of 11 and 1 month, 3 weeks old. You can imagine how traumatic that must have been to her. To me, it's very scary already because I don't know how I could handle a situation like that without a job. But my mom is a hero. Yes, she took to selling vegetables. She told me she started off with 500 francs CFA. She was blessed because my dad was such a hardworking man. My dad had built a house, so we had a home to live in. She didn't have to worry about paying rents. All she was worried about was, of course, utility bills, right? At the age of 36, my father had done the water project in my village. He had built a house in the city, built another one in the village. My dad was, I not be careful being a picking way, I give us suffer. That just say devil get the way we do the thing, but God will always win at the end, right? Well, I'm saying this to say that at that time of uncertainty, I'll not be being at the center of attraction, of course, or center of attention. Who will be caring about a child that just came when the dad is dead and they're going to cry and die, they're going to think that about how funeral will go, or they're going to really give me attention for give me born house and all that. I did not have the privilege of having all those beautiful things, so I'm not a child that came with a silver spoon in her mouth. My mother had to start selling vegetables in the market. When I say vegetables, I mean huckleberry. So she started selling jama jama in the market. She would use 500 francs, buy, I don't know how she did it, how she managed it, only God knows, because he's the supplier. He's the one who blesses and gives us the power to make wealth, right? So I guess my mother's hands were blessed. With 500, I guess the value of 500 back in the days was really, really high, because I don't know what 500 can give you right now. Well, she started off with 500 francs. She sold vegetables. She sold pap. She sold pop and beans, palm wine, beer, Everything that was worth selling. You know, I was the child that even when I got to the age of 2, 3, 4, you would hear our neighbors would say at night, they would just see me opening their door at about 10 p.m. Everybody would be like, where is this child coming from? Like, what's that the picking come out? And then if you imagine my height now as a short, then imagine me back then, how I'd be there for down to that age. You see, I'll be pointing the torch up and walking. Then my neighbor would just take me, spend the night, and then in the morning I'll go back home. Meaning that my mommy not even find me for that night because I don't notice and so I know day. She was too busy. Imagine my mother would wake up in the morning before going to school. Pap gave it already where they sell them. She has to go teach in a primary school. She would go teach. When she gets off at 2 or something like that, she goes to the market because she must have given money to one of the other suppliers to supply her vegetables. She goes and sells the vegetables maybe from 3 p.m. till about 6 or 7. She comes back home and prepares pepper soup that she will sell at night, and then sells drinks and all that and closes late in the night. And that was her routine. She has to wake up early and go back to school and back to back and back to back. How would she have time to coordinate the lives of 6 children all by herself and do all of these things? Poverty na batine. But my mother is a hero. I'm saying all of this to say that if God didn't let me fall off my mom's back and die or have a head injury when my mother was chasing cars to get vegetables and sell, then God has a purpose for my life that is really big. If God didn't let me drown and die in that container of water that was filled when I was a crawling baby, then God has a purpose for my life. And of course, if I am still sitting here, a girl that has sinned, done all sort of things, I mean, that you can name it and not even name it. If God has kept me instead of keeping Gilberline, then God has a purpose for my life. So too, God has a purpose for your life. Not having a dad in my life is, to me, it's a minus, triple minus. Being girls, I wish you knew what we went through in the hands of molesters and the hands of scary neighbors, all sorts of tenants. If it wasn't for the protection of God over our lives, the Lord says He protects the orphans, and that is so true. If it wasn't for God, our lives would have been, if it wasn't for the mercy of God, our lives would have been terrible. In all, our mom saw education as a gateway to our success and relentlessly make sure we complied. That's why today I can speak English. Like if you imagine, say, I would then ask for the tongue, I say, what? How thing for your sign? No, you know, say that time I try to do that thing, so that thing no work. But today I made this for yes, so we God don't bless her. But you know, anyhow, man a Bible girl, whether you lie, you take them for Bible, go put them for Melika Day. Anyhow, the Bible no fit come off for inside you share no. They change them for inside my body. Now just say God did you try to cover the thing. So that say, man no be like that picking the way you know. When mommy tell you, you know. You for body. Yes, just to tell you that my mother did a fantastic job and God topped it up with His mercy, grace, and honor upon our lives. If not, it should have been worse. I remember living with my sisters back then. I was raised by everybody. Yes, all of my siblings are my mothers. I remember when I was like 8 years old, my elder sister was also a baby, was married, because I don't see how a baby could be. At that time, she was really young. My mother's second child, my mother's queen, she was married at the time, and she took me in to live with her. Whilst I was living with her, I couldn't live the life of a normal child. Normal children just go to school, primary school, come back. No, I was the babysitter to her 2 kids. I had to wash uniforms, I had to cook, I had to wash plates, I had to do that. They would beat me in addition to that. not knowing that I be picking what I don't need for grow, I don't need for the play that time, the go school, come back, chop, sleep, me they wash my uniform. But now, Queen Tattoo, she didn't know better because she was only a baby who was put in a mature um, environment. You know, it was what it is at the time. I was supposed to be a very excellent student at school. But I didn't have that foundation. I didn't have that home where I could just live and be a child and grow up. From there, I started living with my sister. May her soul continue resting in peace. My heart. Gerbeline, I left Quinta's house. Then I went back to my mom, stayed there until I went to the secondary school. Then I moved over to Gilbeline's house, whose husband was. That's a topic for another day. Well, I want to tell you that a lot of people have contributed to this growth, most especially my siblings. A lot of what we went through is because we did not have a dad. May his soul continue to rest in peace. And my mom had nothing to her name to have kept us going, to have given us the life that she would have wished to give us. It's such a time of gratitude for me to my God, to the people that have given me a hand, those on the streets that provided for me, those who picked me up. You know, the Lord picked me up from a miry clay and set my feet upon the rock to stand. I'm only standing today not because I worked, I did two things to get here. It is the grace of God that has brought me this far. My mother didn't have it. She couldn't have given me what I have today. I didn't have a dad that could have, put in a word for me. No. But I had a Father in heaven who figured it out. Like every little piece of the puzzle, he put it together and gave me this life that I have right now. In the midst of adversity, when I'm going through the most trying period of my life and not know how to handle it, man, I look at myself and I marvel how I go through that trajectory and come out on the other side where the light is at. God has been faithful to me, to you, to your family. You may be going through a difficult time right now. I'm just here to give you assurance that my story is just to tell you that God can bring honey out of a carcass. God can make anything out of everything. I'm a nobody right now. I don't have anything to my name. I don't have any money in my account. But I'm super grateful for my life, how far I've come. If God doesn't do anything going forward, He has done so much from there to here. This is me. This is the girl whose father died when she was only 1 month, 3 weeks old, whose mother had no food on the table, couldn't afford anything but 500 francs CFA. This is me today. If there is nothing to thank God for, I have a whole life to thank God for. I have friends who had both parents in their lives. I said they go talk something where you know go, yeah. They go say is was. Who was for play when I is. Who past them go play when I. Now present participle. Oh, who can want so? But now me this. Speaking when no get papa. God don't do it for me. If you know one thank God there, thank God for this my new age. Some people go ask me say, be you don't born. Now picking go make me mad, thank God. Even with picking, people they see cry. If I became picking, really die, so I know for see cry. I for see cry, but they in so much turmoil, in so much pain. But now me this, I've been so grateful for God there. Hey, I say I had my accent overcome today, so. Hey, bad boy, chill out, okay? I be Akumge now. You know, my mommy come out small London, and then I marry man from small London. So I be Akum babes. Soon I go start talking now Queen's English. English. At least I have friends in the UK who would mind teaching me the accent. In hindsight, God has been faithful. I want to thank my friends that have been there for me. Oh my God. God stationed people in my life, friends, neighbors, family friends, a friend to a friend. People held my hand through this journey. I did thank so no be say I go die, and I just say I get the spirit of gratitude right now. Gather here with a grateful heart. Yep, the spirit of gratitude right now is in me. So I just want to use this opportunity to say thank you to a lot of people. Coming to America, not having family in America, somebody took me in that didn't even know me because God spoke to that person's heart to take me in. And that is how my life has been. It has been from one success to another because God did not break the breach for me, but He put the breach for me. And that path has always been lit. I haven't. How my earring go to your come off for? So what an embarrassment, eh? You want to tell people that I wear cheap? No problem. We'll get there when I become that billionaire. Anyhow, who go see how a diamond's going to come off for like this now?